What's going on, Socialites? Welcome back to another GPS Tracking, your Pokemon podcast for everything you need to know about the Global Pokemon Society Draft League. We're deep in the playoffs here. Round 1 is over. Round 2 going on this week. Stay to the end to see the updated bracket for that. But we got a pretty long podcast for you today. We are going to be joined by some of the other coaches to give our final rankings on how the teams ended up. And this doesn't really matter based on, if you got 1 win or 10 wins, you can still have a good team. That's kind of how we do it for the most part. But first off, I want to announce this season's all-star teams. So we're going to hop right into that. Alright, starting off, we're going to be going through the blue team in team alphabetical order. And it's from the Black City Zekrom, weighing in at 1,212.5 pounds. The Steel and Psychic Fury, 20 KOs, Metagross. Definitely, for those who have watched all the matches with Black City, definitely his favorite Pokemon this season. Really just kind of carried his team with the Dynamaxing. So Metagross representing the Black City Zekrom on the All-Star team. Up next on the blue team, representing the Boston Braveries, weighing in at 128.3 pounds. It is the Roadrunner, Galarian Zapdos. This Pokemon, great season for Boston, 21 KOs. Just a huge offensive threat, great typing, fighting and flying. Have to see if Zapdos can take down the red team here in the All-Star game. Representing the Driftveil City Dragapults on the blue team, we have Dracozolt weighing in at 418.9 pounds. This Pokemon, 18 KOs, a very efficient Pokemon for the Dragapults. Have to see how it holds up without the dedicated sand support here in the All-Star game. Up next for the blue team, representing the Pittsburgh Poltergeist, is our lone C tier in the All-Star game, weighing in at 144.4 pounds. It is Sandaconda, finishing the season with an impressive 19 KOs and only 4 faints. This snake definitely had quite a few matches where it took control. Let's see if it can take control of this All-Star game. Representing the Tokyo Togekiss in the All-Star game is none other than the super annoying, that's why this Pokemon's here, because it was so annoying to play against. Galarian Weezing, weighing in at 35.3 pounds. This Pokemon, it wasn't about the KOs for Galarian Weezing. It was all about that neutralizing gas and just really making opponents have to change their entire game plan around. It would be interesting to see if in the All-Star game how annoying this Weezing can be. Rounding out the blue team, representing the Vero Beach Volcarona, is one of their favorite Dynamax users, Cinderace, weighing in at 72.8 pounds. This Pokemon finished the season with 22 KOs. Its Libero ability giving it super effective stab damage on so many attacks, making an opponent threat. We'll have to see how threatening it can be in this All-Star game. Now let's take a look at the red team. First up on the red team, weighing in at 209.4 pounds, it is the bane of everybody's Gen 4 Diamond and Pearl run, the Dragon Ground type Garchomp. Garchomp finished the season with 16 KOs, helping Charm City get into the playoffs. And we'll have to see what this fearsome land shark can do here in the All-Star game. Next on the red team, representing the undefeated Denver Ninetales, weighing in, not counting the giant cinder blocks, 191.8 pounds. It is Kong Kelder, this Pokemon with 20 KOs, only 2 faints in 10 games. Quite a fearsome fighting type. Have to see how it can operate in the All-Star game without its dedicated Trick Room support. Speaking of Trick Room, we have, representing the Memphis Muse, weighing in at exactly 97 pounds, the Water Fairy Prima Donna Primarina, finishing the season with 16 KOs, was definitely an offensive force on Memphis's team, sharing spotlight along with his fellow fairy type Xerneas. We'll have to see, can the All-Star game fare well for this diva. Next up, weighing in at 75 pounds, representing the Oklahoma Thunderous, it's Porygon Z. This Pokemon was quite the threat through most of the season, for sure. It's going to be dedicated more to a support role going into this All-Star game. We'll have to see if it can complement its team in that role. Wouldn't be much of a red team without a fire type. And Paris Saint-Germain is represented by the legendary Entei, weighing in at 436.5 pounds. This fire dog is looking to bring the heat in the All-Star game. Ended up the season with a very impressive 26 KOs, second most in the society. However, it was second most only because of this Pokemon rounding out the red team, weighing in at 116 pounds. The mighty Thunderbird Zapdos, leading the league with 27 KOs and representing the Hueco Scissors. So that is your All-Star team. Make sure you tune in for the All-Star game next week. Team codes will be provided during that time, and we look forward to seeing you there. Let's get into the final team rankings now.
Hey Socialites, I'm here with the coaches to break down the season's teams, give them a final ranking. Here with me is Anthony, head coach of Pittsburgh Poltergeist. What's going on, Anthony?
Third time's a charm. Let's do this.
Yeah, another ranking and another time Anthony's on the podcast. Shocker.
Hey.
Cole,
People love
head
me.
coach. Hey, don't talk over me. Cole, the head coach of Raphael City Dragapults. How's it going, Cole?
Good, Ryan.
Good. And our undefeated number 1 seed, Katie, the Denver Ninetales. How's it going, Katie?
Pretty good, Ryan. How you doing?
Good. All the schmucks who lose throughout the season need you here to give us your undefeated wisdom, because obviously we don't know really how to play.
Just give. There you go.
Yep, that's it. Nothing else.
Get good. Get
So
good.
we're gonna hop into it. Got the tier list here, so we'll start going through the teams. We'll flick back and forth between them, but we're gonna start off with Oklahoma. So let's scroll over to Oklahoma. Make this a little bit bigger for everybody. All right, so Oklahoma. They ended the season 5-5, just missing the playoffs. They made a few changes throughout the season. Some I liked, some I thought were kind of repetitive. And Anthony, what are your thoughts on Oklahoma?
I think Oklahoma had a really good team this season. I think the biggest thing that hurt them was their initial team was so bad, and that's where they got 3 of their losses was the first 3 games before we start trading. So I think, overall, I think it's a pretty good team. I'd say, I wouldn't say it's like the upper echelons of teams, but definitely like pretty good.
Yeah, the only thing I'm thinking is that like a lot of your threats, like fighting, just seems really good.
Yeah, that is
Even
definitely true.
even your resist, like Alakazam, like you're not gonna really resist it because you're an Alakazam, if you know what I mean. And then you do
That's
have
fair.
Frostlass, but and then I feel like they needed some better speed control. So I was surprised when they dropped Talonflame because I thought Talonflame gave them like that instant speed control. Not that like Evital gets Tailwind, but it is a little more.
But it's not it's priority when you do it with Talonflame.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of my thing. Cole, do you have any thoughts on the Thunderous?
I mean, yeah, I do say, he did have an unfortunate season. Just because, all of the good teams he was going up against, unfortunately, just had better teams than him.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, Porygon Z did some work for him. But again, when you look at his top, KO getters, Porygon, Urshifu, Crocodile, like I said, it's kind of like even Evital and Celesteal, like there's no fighting resist. You get a good fighter in there, and then also Celesteal is a fairy resist, but there's kind of like a lot of shared weaknesses between your big threats.
Mm-hmm.
Like they weren't able to cover each other very well. So I think, like Cole brought up, kind of some of the more prepared, better teams were kind of able to exploit that. So with that said, Cole, where would you want to put them?
I'd say probably either like maybe mid to low A tier, even though I know that's not a thing right now.
Yeah. What do you think, Anthony? Because you put some thoughts in on this. Do you agree with Cole?
Yep, I would say definitely more on the low A. If we're gonna do it that way, low A when we get to that point.
We'll see exactly
or even
where it breaks.
Yeah, we might adjust accordingly. Like I wouldn't hate them as a high B, but low A is I think where they fit.
Yeah. I just feel like we always put like these gym leader teams in the B. So I feel like by the end he might fall there, but we'll see. Because we do have a lot of womp womp sort of teams as we get to it. All right, moving on from the Thunderous, we're going over to Daytona Colossals. So this was a team, I thought they had like a solid core and they just had to like build around it and give it the support. They tried a little bit, but I don't think they went as all in as I would have liked them. Katie, what are your thoughts on Daytona's team as it ended up?
I feel like they just didn't play their team the best way that it could have been played. I also think it was kind of predictable. Like the Colossal Blastoise combo was very predictable, and I think a lot of people were able to work around that. So they didn't really have like a backup combo or a backup strategy that would have made them a little bit trickier to work around.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a few teams that we're going to like comment that like, yeah, you got a really good A strategy, but if that A strategy can be figured out, what's your B strategy? And a lot of teams had a good A strategy, but no good B strategy to fall back on. Anthony, what are your thoughts on Daytona?
Only 7 games of Rayquaza kills me.
Yeah, he waited so long to play. I think it was like week 6
I remember
or
us
something.
talking about it. Like you have, and like Rayquaza, it's not like some of the teams. Like we look at their X tier, and it's like, okay, like this X tier is terrible. So like I understand if you don't want to use this
or something. Yeah,
like okay, like I don't care if you don't use it, but like Rayquaza is a very good Pokemon. Like use it, you have it. Like that would definitely be my biggest. I also feel really bad because I wanted that Serena, and just to see it waste away on this team has killed me.
Yeah, so Serena is such a solid Pokemon. Its ability is so nice. Yeah, like I said, I mean his team overall was solid. Like we're not ranking really on coaching.
No.
So I don't want to do that. But from his team position, Katie,
now we're not ranking on coaching.
Yeah,
last time I got yelled at for
coaching
saying
or by
that.
team.
I got yelled
team.
at last time for saying that. So for the record, I want the record to show.
Yeah. If you want to take
say-
cares, you can, like Katie said, like his team wasn't coached properly, it wasn't utilized. So Katie, where would you put Daytona?
I mean, if we're going by the lineup, I think it's still a solid A tier because it has Rayquaza, it has the really good A, strategy of Colossal and Blastoise, and it has Serene. So it has good cores. It's just in different hands. It'd be interesting to see what the team could do.
Yeah. Cole, what do you think?
Oh yeah, no, I agree. And what I was gonna say was, so I watched his video of our battle, and in game 2, he almost Dragon Clawed my Dracozolt, and I think if he had, but then he decided to Dragon Ascent Amoonguss, and I think if he had, I may not have actually won game 2, because he probably could have had me there because Rayquaza was faster.
Oh,
But-
okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I was watching his thing and like he was so close to Dragon Clawing Dracozolt. Like he was hovering over Dragon Claw, and then he's like, and then he switched over to Amoonguss and went Dragon Ascent, and I was like, oh my god, that was almost close to
Yeah.
The
He
Dracozolt
probably
dying.
just assumed you were gonna Rage Powder spam.
Yeah,
I would
probably. But yeah, no, I was going for the Spore. But yeah, no, I agree with Katie on that. Like a low A tier.
Yeah. The only reason I would advocate like maybe drop him down to a B is what I said about like, yeah, he has Blastoise, Colossal, and Rayquaza's good X tier, but then the rest of the team kind of
I will
doesn't
second
fit.
the B with you, Ryan. I don't.
Yeah.
If we're just talking team comp, I still think it's a B team because like I have some other teams in my head that I think are a B team. Spoiler: I think the next team we're going to talk about on this little list here is a B team.
Yeah,
I
they
would
kind of
put them
have
in
the same issue.
And that's
They
the
they
same
just had a
tier for
better
me.
coaching
Yeah.
position.
Yeah, and that would be the same kind of argument on my end. Is just like, to me, like I said, that when I thought of like these tier lists in my head, like, spoiler, we're gonna get right to them. Yeah, so Tokyo was a B team to me. Like looking at this team, this is a B team. You've got Regigigas, you've got Galarian Weezing, you've got Magearna. Those are all really good Pokemon. But once you get through the Regigigas strategy, which pretty much everyone, after like the first few weeks of them picking them up, everyone had a strategy for Regigigas, Galarian Weezing, and that's why their win record tanked. So it's like, I don't think Colossals are a better team comp than this team. Like they seem very similar to me.
Yeah, it's definitely you need two Pokemon. They need to combo off each other, and then what's your secondary strategy? And as we saw with this team and with Daytona's team, there really wasn't a secondary strategy that made you could go all in, just like, okay, all I need to do is stop Regigigas, and I win. Like if I'm in the lead when Regigigas dies, I win. That's all you kind of need to do. Same thing with Daytona for a while. I know he switched it up a little bit here and there, but if I can just stop Colossal from doing its thing, I'll win. So,
Yeah,
it's
pretty much.
kind of the same situation here. So Anthony's saying B tier for Tokyo. Do you agree with that?
I would say low B. I mean, part of me even wants to say C, but I mean, Regigigas is a good Pokemon, but I just don't see a lot of synergy in her team at all besides that one combo.
Yeah.
It seems hurts.
Yeah, I think the overall
I mean, there was
team is
Magearna,
definitely below
Mesprit,
Daytona.
there was Magearna Mesprit, so there was like a little trick roomy kind of something
Yeah.
for Magearna. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to say they have no other synergies. Like, there's something. It's
Yeah,
not,
you
I
could
didn't
you could
think
have
it's
tried to
amazing,
do a
but it
little
was like there was
trick room
something.
team.
Well, I saw her do it in some of the matches I watched, is that she had the option for Mesprit trick rooming with Magirna out. And, I think that's a pretty fine strategy. You know what I mean? As secondary, it's still not enough, but it was to me, there was at least a little bit more synergy than just the one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just looking at, the rest of it, too, though. I don't really know.
Oh, the rest is...
Le'Veon
the rest
brought,
is all over the
what's
place.
Victorion there for? So I guess I'm just looking at all the other, most of the team just doesn't seem to do much.
I agree.
I would have liked if they wanted to go more in the trick room, bring Arachnid a little more,
Mm.
Because Arachnid can hit hard with its water bubble ability, just already powering up its water moves. Then you get the rain set up with a max geyser. Now your water moves are doing super damage. If you're not resisting that, you are taking so much from that. Like a life orb, water bubble in the rain. I don't know, but yeah, I think Daytona's overall team is a little bit better, even though they both had kind of the same glaring fault.
Alrighty.
All right, on to Black City. Black City, another season, another kind of similar draft strategy, another kind of around 500, another making the playoffs. So just another Black City season. You can almost count on it as the sun rises and sets. This is what Black City will do. Cole, what are your thoughts on the Black City Zekroms? They made some late changes in free agency that I thought were a little interesting.
Well, yeah, he really likes going hyper offense, fairly fast Pokemon. So that's been kind of like his forte.
Yeah, I'm just gonna scroll down real quick or zoom out real quick just so we can look at the free agent trades. He made all these in the last week of free agent trades. So he dropped Naganadel. He dropped Haxorus and Sharpedo. These are in the wrong thing. So I don't know if that is
oops.
Professionally done stat sheet here.
Right.
Doing it live, I don't give a shit. So I thought dropping Naganadel was interesting, but you can continue, Cole.
Well, yeah, just he dropped a few things that are really fast and not super defensive for, Glycopod can be pretty bulky, but he's fairly slow. Scyther can't, even with an Eviolite, it's not really made for taking hits that well. And then Zoroark, another fast one that isn't usually super defensive.
Yeah.
It's usually mainly there to just trick people into thinking it's something else.
Yeah. What do you think, Anthony, about Black City? What are your thoughts about their final team comp?
Same team every season.
Yeah.
Literally
No
Crobat. No Crobat or Darmanitan, which are.
I mean, honestly, when you're
staples.
this fast, you don't need them.
Right? I know, right?
You got.
But
You're either super fast or you have priority. Although I guess it wouldn't have hurt for Metagross because Metagross is kind of on the slower side for this team anyway.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably I think I've played them because they're usually in my division. I think I've played them every season, and this is the season I was probably least afraid of their team. Of all the seasons I've played against them, this team just literally, again, one trick pony, a lot of similar weaknesses, a lot of fighting weaknesses. Huge. Yeah. That was my big thing.
Fighting and
when
steel.
I went against them, I was bring fighting, bring ground. I was if I bring friggin'. My plan was bring Sandaconda and have it have a rock and a ground move, and you take out his whole team.
Yeah.
And literally, that's what I did.
Yeah. So where would you put him, Cole? Is it above kind of Daytona and Tokyo?
I'd say, yeah, I'd put him in upper B tier because he does have, a few things he can go with.
I kind of think he's kind of similar to Oklahoma.
Okay.
Oklahoma's team. I think they're kind of the same sort of style. If you know what I mean. Oklahoma did have a couple tricks like the Anger Point Crocodile, which was like interesting if Crocodile's speed tier was good for your matchup.
Yeah.
But
I think.
Sorry, my issue with that team is.
Katie, yeah.
No, I said my only issue with that team and comparing to Oklahoma is what Anthony said earlier. It's the similarity and weaknesses, and that makes it really easy to take that team out, and that knocks it down because of that, though.
Yeah,
I was gonna say around the similar line. Like, I think like if the thing about this team though, like if you don't have a strategy, because he's just like we always say about Black City, if you aren't prepared for like the hyper aggro like weaknesses, he can bully you really easily. So I think that's why I like him better than the Daytonas. I don't know if I would say A tier either. I'd say like either high B or like lower than Oklahoma A.
I mean, so what you were thinking here, Cole?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next up, we got Lavender Gangars, who throughout the season was just so disappointing.
Saw that coming from Anthony.
And Anthony, okay, so when this trade happened, we're gonna go back to this Arcanine trade. Anthony, the steal of the freaking I don't know what you offered this man. You must have paid him cash or something, like
no, we actually
Venmo
talked.
Transaction going on because
we
this man trades Arcanine for Regidrago and then never uses. I don't think he even brought it to a match. I don't know if I saw it on that.
I don't know what he was doing with Regidrago. I was talking to him and I said to him, I'm trying to get rid of Regidrago. I was like, I would take either of your B tiers, Gyarados or Arcanine. I'm just looking for like an Intimidator if you're interested. And he was like, I am interested. He's like, I was like, if you want me to be honest with you, I'd rather have Arcanine, but if you want to give me Gyarados, I'll take it. And he was like, I'd rather keep Gyarados. And I was like, great, I'll take Arcanine.
freaking steal. Yeah, great, I'll take Arcanine. Like it's a burden. Like it's a burden to have.
Oh, stop. Off your hands,
if Incineroar wasn't in the game, Arcanine would be probably like A or S tier easily.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah, no, you're not complaining.
Pupperino was a good
I feel like that was the
downhill
spiral for him. Like,
it was already 0-3. It wasn't
yeah, I know, but that was just like, okay, now you're in the hole and you just dug it another 6 feet deeper. Because he could have kept Arcanine, Gyarados, and Landorus. There's nothing wrong with having all of them. Gyarados can Moxie. You can be a Moxie sweeper.
Yep. I mean, that's how I used to.
I mean, okay, so we're looking at this team though. Enough about his poor transaction choices, but we're looking at this team. Katie, what do you think about the Gengars?
You're tired, so I don't think I played Gengars, but I'm not really entirely familiar with. I mean, they look like they have like a couple good combinations here that can make things work. I mean, I know Mandibuzz is a low tier, but as far as C tier to go, I think he could be really solid.
Used it for Tailwind setup a lot.
Yeah, like a bulky Tailwind. I don't know. He really liked that Aegis Slash all season, and I don't think Aegis Slash is like.
I was never impressed with Aegis Slash, but he did use it a lot. Yeah.
Like, I know he picked it up kind of late, but Nihiligo could have been better for him. I think his X tier kind of hurt him a little bit too. Like Giratina isn't that
great. Well, he didn't have
like
Giratina original. He had Gira and Black, I think, and he traded.
Yeah, I think Gira and Black would have been better.
I agree.
I wouldn't say this is a horrible team, but it's not a team that like screams to me.
It's got some good offense. Landorus, Kartana, Gyarados. Not really any like
Nihiligo. You can use Regidrago, but it is a good aggressive threat. Like
yeah, you could choice Scarf it, or depending on your speed tier, you could Specs it. But
Dragon Fang's fine too if you want to switch it up. But yeah.
I think this is kind of somewhere in the B tier again. I don't know. What do you think, Anthony?
I'd say I'd say B, low B.
Yeah, like lower than Daytona Tokyo.
Mm,
I think it's higher than
Probably.
that. I think it's
I don't know.
somewhere here.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
where I would have put it, is right below Black City.
Yeah, because I think at least
That's
he
fine.
has like some
Things to do.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta at least like plan around some different things. Like he was Dynamax and Landers for a while, and then he wasn't, and so there were some options for him. All right,
Sounds good.
going on to Charm City. Charm City Charizards. Cool. What do you think about Zach and the Charm City Charizards?
I mean, he's got a pretty good team. Like, he beat me week 1.
Yeah,
Not
but
that
your
I'm
team's
saying,
changed
obviously,
a lot
I'm-
since then.
Yeah. Not that I'm, the benchmark or anything, but because obviously I'm not.
Also, some coaching decisions might play into that. Like Choice scarfing his Garchomp when he Dynamaxes it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so I kind of like this team. I mean, it's got Whimsicott, good support Pokemon.
I'm a sucker for a Tailwind Prankster setter, so when he picked up Whimsicott, I thought it was an amazing pickup on his end.
Yeah, I feel like Garchomp and Necrozma kind of cover each other too as like his offensive threats.
Pheromosa felt very out of place, especially if you're
Yeah,
going to be setting up
Pheromosa seems
Tailwinds.
kind of redundant. Cobalion's great with Whimsicott. It like people have to prepare for that sort of lead. He used a Zoomerl early in the season. I wish he had picked up like a better Trick Room user to try to use with it. But all he has is Claydol.
I agree. Yeah, and
Yeah.
Claydol's very mediocre.
And for special attackers, I mean, Pheromosa can be a special attacker, and I've mentioned that to him a couple times. Its move
I've
pool
seen
is
him run
also
special
limited.
a little bit. Yeah, he's run it. I think he's running
I
special.
think
a few
once
times
he
with this
did.
team. Yeah.
But I mean, not in some of the matches that mattered with like Intimidators and everything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then Moltres was a late pickup for him. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think this team is solid.
Yeah, I think it's like it's what Black City wants to do, but better. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it actually it's very attack central, which is Black City's thing, like very physical attacker, like heavy, but like there's
We've got a
layers to
variety
it.
of threats.
Yeah,
too.
there's layers. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he's above Oklahoma.
Oh, I'd agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
He's not S, but he's definitely an higher than Oklahoma.
Yeah. All right, going on to the Kingslayer PSG. This
hard
man
mode, man.
Great, some crazy wins.
Right?
just slugging his way into the playoffs at the end of the season. But the Gen 2 team, so hey, what do you think? Did Gen 2 hold up? Like,
I mean, it took you down. I think that he's making a Gen 2 team. I think
the
he made the best
cojones
team.
on this man to trick room in my face twice.
I think
I want to ask him. I think he might have been trying to do Tailwind with Suicune at the same time. Like
Yeah.
one of these will die, but I'll have the other one alive.
He'll get some form of speed control.
Yeah. So I wonder if I had just split my attacks and just totally fucked him over. Like, yes, you have Trick Room and Tailwind. Have fun, but
I mean, hey, he was able to do it because you didn't stop him. So
yeah. No, because I didn't think anyone could be that insane, but here we are.
This man.
This man.
he probably figured you'd double into one of them though. So
Oh
it
yeah,
was-
yeah. I mean, easily.
a nice
But,
read.
the Trick Room was definitely a lot worse for my team
Oh yeah.
than Tailwind would have been. But anyway, I think honestly the core of this team is solid. I mean, obviously the C tier is kind of
He's got a
Oh,
5
yeah.
Pokemon team basically, but it was
Yeah.
a really good 5 Pokemon.
yeah, because I mean Hippotom's great, Fake Out, Intimidate, Porygon 2's great, Lugia's great, Entei, Suicune, like those are all great. I don't know, Cole, where would you put PSG?
I'd say like maybe high A tier.
Yeah, I think just because of how good like those 5 are, like that's all you got to bring. And
I
it covers
agree.
so much.
Yeah.
That's literally what he did. He brought those 5.
That is what he did. So you can't blame him.
Yeah.
It's perfectly fine strategy. It worked out.
Yeah, it was, like you said, Lugia is good, but it was unfortunate a couple games where, he swapped it in and it immediately got hit. So he didn't bring it the next game because it just died.
Yeah. You got to bring Lugia in clean so it gets that multi-scale.
Yep.
The first time. All right, next up we got the Diamond Desert Dwellers. They never really got going, but I mean, for a while, Charizard was kind of killing things, and then it just stopped for like 5 weeks of killing things, so they kind of never had it going. Sun Team, of course. Katie, what are your thoughts on the Diamond Desert Dwellers here as a final team comp?
I'm not over. I think as far as Sun teams go, I think there are better combinations to have, and I feel like the whole team is just kind of resting on Charizard.
Yeah, from an offensive output. Yeah, basically. What do you think, Anthony?
I think this is our first C team. Just Sun is not the thing I want to build around in general. I mean, I ranted about this many a time already, based on my last season. Sun is just not what you want to build your doubles team around. And even as far as Sun teams go, it's like a mediocre Sun team at best. Also, if we're going to take coaching into account, there were some not so great decisions on special attack moves on Groudon, for example. Like, what is going on here? Thunder over Thunderbolt on everything. Why? I don't understand. You're a Sun team. If you're a Rain team, it's a different story. But oh my God, why? So yeah, this to me is like a C team.
Yeah, I always say this about weather teams. Like Katie, the undefeated Denver Ninetales, they have a Hail Core. It's 2 Pokemon, and that's all they need.
Same. I have a 2 Pokemon.
Yeah, you got 2 Pokemon for Hail. I mean, you only brought it like once, but
yeah, they're not very good.
But you got it. So like when you do a weather, like that's really all you need. Like you don't gotta have 6 Pokemon to do this.
Well, especially when you're only bringing in 4 a game, and 4 would be resting on that one strategy, and I think that's what we're talking.
Especially with Dynamax, where weather can change so easily.
So often.
It's a big different story when we were doing singles and like there's no Dynamax. So like if you change the weather, like it's gonna stay that weather unless it's another weather team. Where it's like this is just so easy to change the weather.
All right, next up we got Cole's team, the Dragapults.
Trash. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Jokes, Cole.
Cole, why don't you give us a pitch here for your team? How would you rate your team?
I mean, I do like the team comp. Well, Mantine just came in just to deal with like one team, and that was it, which is why I barely brought it. I was pretty happy with the Sand Core, and then as we saw, Lycanroc was a really good pickup.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I wouldn't see putting me, in S tier, maybe A tier, but
I would probably say A tier. Like your Kyurem's the lone exception here, but you do have a very big ground weakness.
Yeah, I do.
Like really no, other than a couple flying types, there's no ground resists, and your flying types aren't part of your like main core, so you're not really like bent on bringing them. So that's like a big weakness I see, which we've seen on a couple other teams. I'm not saying that's bad. Anthony, what are your thoughts on the Dragapults?
I like Cole's team. Again, like we see, a weather core of like 3 Pokemon. Dracozolt, Gigalith, Excadrill. You know what I mean? Yeah, sure, Lycanroc takes advantage of it, but it's not like essential for the core. You know what I mean? The same core is 3 Pokemon, and that's perfect. I like Amoonguss. I like Karen White. Again, I feel like this is like very similarly, like almost like a 5 or 6 Pokemon team, and then you kind of have like the other things like kind of thrown in about here and there. I would say high A, if not low C. Low S. Low C. Oh my god.
I think
I was gonna say,
like
Anthony, come on.
No, yeah, it's quite the range. High A to low C. High A, like low S, but like high A definitely at the minimum.
I'm gonna agree putting an A. Mainly because of the Pokemon whose name begins with A, Amoonguss. I feel like is the glue that kind of like holds all together because it gives Cole that free turn or two.
Yeah.
To
Rage Powder's a hell of a drug.
Really get his threat going. So
and before this season, I wasn't a big fan of Amoonguss, but now I kind of am.
Do you like him ahead or below PSG?
I think ahead of PSG.
Yeah, I think it'll. Yeah, because you beat PSG. So yeah, I was gonna say I think in a 1v1, Cole's team would win, and we saw that did happen.
And it did.
It did. Surprisingly, I wasn't sure if that was actually going to happen or not.
All right, El Paso Electros. I really had higher hopes for Tom this season after his start. I feel like he got a couple hard-fought wins, but I don't know. Maybe it was that he never brought Raikou again until the last week, but something kind of.
Dynamax and Cresselia was choices.
Yeah. Katie, what are your thoughts on the Electros?
I feel like their team seems a little random to me. Honestly.
Yeah, I feel like they needed to make some moves to kind of. Like, you got Cresselia, so you can have a Trick Room side. And you got Torkoal, so you can have, like, a little sun thing. I mean, Raikou's just good. Togekiss is just good. Like, they got some options. Cole, what do you think?
I mean, to jump off of what Katie said, yeah, every single one of his teams has been just him choosing things that he wants without really any rhyme or reason. So, yeah, his teams do tend to be very, very random.
I feel like you need more than just a good Pokemon, too, to have a good team. I mean,
yeah.
Black City, they're chock full of good Pokemon, but that's not enough.
A good team, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, I feel like with, like say he was bringing Raikou more, like, he brought Lantern so much. If he brought Raikou more in the later games, Raikou's only weakness is ground, and he has 3 really good Pokemon that are all immune to ground. So, like, it kind of, like, covers for that. But, Cole, where would you put the Electros?
I'd say probably, like, high C, above Diamond Desert Dwellers.
Above Diamond. What do you think, Anthony?
I don't know if I would say above Diamond, because at least Diamond has some semblance of a plan. Like,
Fair.
This is just random Pokemon I like. I definitely C tier. I don't think there's an argument there, but I would say, Diamond above it.
I don't know. I kind of like it above Diamond. What do you think, Katie? You can be the tiebreaker.
Or not.
I kind of agree that Diamond at least has. Well, and maybe that's what is the issue with Diamond, is that the strategies it has are predictable, and that's what makes it all possible.
Yeah, it's like too much of a strategy.
You don't know what to plan for with El Paso because you don't know what he's going to do. So, which could be a strategy.
But does El Paso know what he's going to do? That is
most of the time. I think he doesn't.
That is the real question.
But that could be a strategy in and of itself if someone were to play it the right way, you know?
Yeah.
It's like Drunken Fist.
I feel like Vero Beach tries to do that strategy a lot, just like confuse people, and it works out.
Confusing me when I watch the videos, like, what's this for? What's this do? All right, next, the Seattle Shiny Sylveons. We don't have to go too much into this team.
Look, another all over the place team.
Yeah. Anthony, why don't you just give us a brief summary on this team, and then we'll put it where it belongs.
Sure. Brief summary. C tier.
Yeah. I mean, going a little bit more into that, I mean, obviously Dragapult's great. I would have liked to have seen something done a little bit more Tyranitar, like Dynamax with a weakness policy, Surf, Dragapult. You know, you could have had a powerful 1-2 punch there.
Using your
Latios
X
was
tier
never
on
brought to the
Keldeo.
game.
I just can't.
I don't know.
I can't with using your X tier on Keldeo.
Yeah, that was a little, especially when you can't Dynamax. That's a little like,
That was a choice.
Yeah. So yeah, the X tier could have been better. Definitely needed support help a lot. Again, not that Dragapult can't be used as a bulky support, but like
Dragapult does everything. It's the Swiss Army knife of this game.
Yeah, whatever you want it to do, it can do. But
I mean, I am a little biased towards it, but you know.
You don't have to be. Everyone knows it's just disgusting. It does everything.
All right, next up we got the Buffalo Badoops. So I'm gonna say I feel like this team kind of overperformed as I thought it would, but
I agree.
Yeah, what do you think, Katie? What do you think about the Badoops?
See, I actually really like this team because I could see a bunch of different things that it could do. This would be a team if I was going up against, I wouldn't be 100% sure what Pokemon they were going to bring because they have a lot of options here.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely had options. Like Shedinja is good against like certain teams and strategies. Like a lot of legendary Pokemon just can't touch it. So if you want to try to get into a 1v1 or 1v2 situation with your Shedinja being alive, you could probably do that. It's a little difficult with max moves and everything, though, setting up like hail and sand and all that. I would have liked to see them use Ditto a little more creatively. I think that was a missed opportunity. What do you think, Cole?
I mean, yeah, I will say, you know, he does have a very fast team.
Yeah, but he never brought Crobat, I guess, because his team was already so fast, right? So,
yeah, he didn't really need that tailwind.
But Crobat could have been a good support Pokemon they needed because Crobat can do other things like Taunt and Haze and.
Well, Dugtrio is also really great to bring in doubles for. So I feel like he has components that could make it a great team. I mean, there's definitely certain Pokemon that I think he should have dropped. I don't think it's the worst on the list, though.
No.
Oh, he's definitely not the worst on the list.
So, Anthony, where would you put the Badoops?
Low B.
Like below Daytona Tokyo, or?
I'd say above them, but still not like higher than that.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we got the Hueco Scissors. This season's kind of come from behind Cinderella's story, squeaking into the playoffs. The Rain team. Cole, what are your thoughts on the Hueco Scissors?
I mean, he's got a pretty solid, you know, Rain core.
He's got the KO leader, Zapdos.
Yep.
Zapdos put in work.
You know, Kyogre was the reason I brought Mantine to my team because it worked out so well the last time I had it. So I figured, hey, what worked before will work again. And then the thing that Mantine I had brought in to die, and it never actually died in that battle. But yeah, no, he's got a pretty solid team, I gotta say.
Yeah, what are your thoughts, Anthony?
I definitely love the Rain core. Seeing how little games the Duraludon has seen, it makes me sad because I tried to trade that off with multiple times and he didn't take the bait because I miss my boy. But other than that, no, I like this team a lot. I think Seismitoad's really good for the team as well, even though we didn't bring a ton. He's done some good work with Drifblim, which is always cool to see. Yeah, I like this team. I think, again, this is like another, if we're talking like PSG, things like that, is like a 5 Pokemon team, you know, but
yeah,
that's all you need.
Yeah, if you're 5 Pokemon synergize and are good enough. Yeah, we had preseason, we had Hueco ranked pretty highly. So Cole, where would you put Hueco?
I'd say maybe like B tier. I don't know if it's higher than Black City, but maybe
I think it's
Around-
got to be an 8
I
tier.
A
was
tier.
gonna say
I
I
think it's
firmly
B tier.
disagree with B.
Uh,
I was gonna say like between Charm City and PSG because that's where I
Oh.
put like or even like PSG and Driftvale. Like again, those are the 5 Pokemon teams I've already
Fair, yeah.
said already.
Yeah.
I would put them all in the same kind of area of A.
Okay, don't listen to me then, because apparently I don't know what I'm talking about.
Don't worry, we won't.
What do you think, Katie?
I think he's for sure a high A.
I almost want to put him ahead of Dragon Balls just because I look at the two teams and I think Hueco in a 1v1 on paper would beat Driftvale.
Yeah, and Cole gets knocked down a point for that terrible take. So there you go. Jokes.
All right. Next up, we got the mighty Psyducks. So this was a team that I feel like had a lot of potential.
It
you
looks
got
so
Lapras.
good.
Yeah.
It looks so good.
Lapras, Dragonite, Clefable, in the support role. He did some decent work with Swampert, so he definitely likes Swampert. Snorlax can be another great bulky Dynamax option. I think you just need a couple more support options on this team to kind
Stop
of
setting up Stealth Rocks with Swampert.
yeah that too. But to kind of bring it all together. So, Katie, what are your thoughts on the Psyducks?
I think they're a solid team. I don't know if I'd put them in an A tier though. I don't think they're up to that, but I would definitely say like maybe the highest B.
Yeah, what do you think, Anthony? You seem kind of vocal on the team.
So again, I played them first match of the season, and I actually was like, this is the first time, and I played the Psyducks many a time because they're in my division as well. But like, this is the first season where I was like, actually, like, oh, I gotta think around this team. Like, usually I'm just like, whatever, I'll use the joke, I'll beat them, whatever strategy I've got. But sorry, but like this team, like looking at it, I was like, oh, this team was like, it's got some stuff to it. You know what I mean? Like, you can't really attack it with like too many certain like angles. He's got, there is a bit of like, maybe, some steel weakness, that you can explore a little bit, but not really, like, you know what I mean? Poison. But other than that, yeah, I just feel like this came down to the coaching, like the team wise. Like, I think if we were just saying like, look at this team, I would say it's an A team, but like, I couldn't put them in an A tier. I don't think.
Yeah, I'm trying to like separate like you said, the Stealth Rock decisions, but even then, I don't think I would put it in A just yet. Like, it definitely needs a bump on something, like even just something to go with to Powdon. Like, he's got so many pairings. Like, I would love to see a team just be like, okay, I'm gonna have like 5 different 1-2 pairings, and every week you're not gonna know like which couple I'm bringing. But I've seen teams like come close to that, but not quite. Cole, where would you put the Psyducks?
I'd say upper B.
Like, ahead or below Lavender Town?
I'd say probably ahead.
Head of Lavender Town. Did you agree, Anthony?
I'd agree.
All right. Next up, we got the Vero Beach Volcaronas. Getting to the final few here. All right, Vero Beach. Now, this is an offensive team. They did pick up a couple pretty solid support Pokemon, though. I definitely like Persian getting picked up, and Hitmonlee really did well for them towards the end of the season. Cole, what are your thoughts on Vero?
Yeah, he's got a really good team, I gotta say. Like, going into our battle, I did not know exactly what I was gonna do to counter him. And that was even before he got Persian.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
Katie, what do you think about the Volcarona?
I think his KO count is impressive with some of the Pokemon.
Yeah,
So
he's
he-
got 4 in double digits. That's pretty good.
but I mean that's only 4. So is he just has 4 good ones and the rest are just kind of floating. I mean, it's 2 that he never even brought in. So if we're talking about overarching team,
They're 5 Pokemon team, I think.
yeah.
But I think they're my favorite of the offensive, like of the hyper
Yeah.
offense teams that we've had in the league. This was definitely the best one.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, Anthony, where would you put them?
If not, I don't know if we want to put them in S yet. Maybe they might be like the lowest S, but they're definitely, if not the lowest S, the highest.
I totally agree with your thinking, Anthony. Katie, why don't you be the judge on that? Do you think they're high A or are they our first S team? The undefeated Denver Ninetales. You know, we have to bow down to their wisdom on tough choices like this.
Goodness. Well, all right. So if we're putting them in S team, we're saying that they're better than all the A team tiers listed. So if there's,
I mean, that is usually how a tier list works.
Hueco.
Yes. Mm.
But if there's a 1-on-1 against Hueco, are we saying that they would for sure beat Hueco, for example, just their team?
I mean, they do have the electric duo, which I think does help them against Hueco specifically. I mean, Zapdos is kind of a wild card, but
Probably S tier then.
S. What do you think, Cole? Do you disagree with that?
I do not.
All right, our first S tier. I didn't think we would do it, guys. Woo. This late. I mean, I guess we did save a lot of the good teams for the end.
I was gonna say, I looked at the last few teams because you did this randomly, and I was just like, wow, there's a lot of the X1 records are at the end.
It was based on strength of schedule from hardest to easiest. So it might say something that the teams that did well had the easiest schedules at the end of the season. We can't play all the games here. All right, so Anthony,
Hey, look at this sexy
turn.
team.
Where would you put yourself, Anthony?
I've been saying all season. I think my team is an S team. I think there's a lot of good to my team. I think, obviously I've said it already tonight, but I'll say it again. Prankster Tailwind is disgusting. Tornadoes is my main guy. Calyrex Shadow getting tons of kills, showing the potential of the snake, Mr. Sandaconda. Arcanine holding it all together with some intimidating. Gudra was a really cool pickup I got later in the season. That was a good Dynamax option when I needed it. Mian Xiao did a ton of work as need be, as just, fake out. Hard hitting close combats was the key to beating Tokyo for me with Feint to kill off the Wheezing. Tapu Lele just hits really hard and also sets up Psychic Terrain for Calyrex. I tried out Vanillix and Aegis and Low and Sandslash. It's okay. They're there if I want them. And Meowstic's out on the bench, but I think I tried to utilize as much of my team as possible, and I think it did work most of the time.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't think we gotta discuss too much about this. I mean, Anthony's S. He's probably towards the top of the S once we rank a few teams. But yeah, I mean, Cole, did you want to add anything to that?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I could be mean and say C tier, like he said for me, but I'm gonna be the bigger man and not.
I mean, if we're going to compare size of men, that's my specialty as well.
I will say that Mian Xiao messed me up in our battle. That thing hits hard.
A force.
It is.
It does hit real hard.
Do a lot. Yep.
I wasn't a fan of Sandaconda 2 for a while, so it's kind of nice to see that it can do things. So.
I was gonna say Anthony does have a love for Sandaconda.
That Pokemon is great. I don't know why people don't like it. With a
it definitely helps with the
Dynamax.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, its Dynamax is really good.
All right, next up we got the Slateport Sableyes. This was a team that, I mean, I was kind of messaging them and some other coaches who talked with them, and I was like, you got to make some moves. Your schedule's wide open. You could make a run at this. You got to make some moves. Unfortunately, they didn't make any moves.
And he also brought the same 6 to every single battle.
Yeah.
5 fire weaknesses on this team.
Yeah. I mean, are we in consensus that this is the lowest team?
The seest
Yeah.
of the seas. Yes.
Yeah. The seest of the season.
See you next season, Slateport.
Like it was just unfortunate. I feel like if they made some adjustments, I don't. He kind of joined the league like right before the draft, so because the previous coach of Slateport had to drop out due to family reasons. So I feel like he just didn't quite know what he was getting into this season. So hopefully next season they pull it together.
Yeah, he did say he was even though he wasn't doing so good. He did say he was having fun when I was messaging with him.
Well, that's good. That's all that matters in the end.
It was a tough season for a lot of the minors teams that were coming up to the majors.
For sure.
It's a tough transition.
For sure. All right.
Only like one or two did like really well this season.
Buffalo you had Buffalo was kind of in it till the end, and then obviously Memphis was one of the runaway teams. So yeah, other than that, all the others had like only 1 or 2 wins.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so next we got the All Gen 8 team, your Boston Braviaries. I'll give my plug.
I was saying, talk about yourself for a while, Ryan. I know it's hard for you.
I mean,
like that would be different. How?
I know, right?
Yeah. Wait, I thought you were saying that about Anthony Cole.
Oh no, you like.
I'll admit it too.
I've been saying all season that I don't think my team is any good, and that's due to the restrictions. Obviously, if you could pick any Pokemon, you'd be great. Grimmsnarl, though, obviously one of the best support Pokemon in the game. There's like a half dozen different sets and stuff that could be. I've kind of just leaned back on its bread and butter screen set, but who knows? Maybe I'll mix things up in the playoffs. I haven't really needed to do any of the other like more sophisticated things. Eternatus, one of the best Dynamax killers. Hatterene I brought more in the early season. I didn't really need Trick Room towards the later game because honestly most of my team is relatively fast. So I just had to kind of bully a lot of the teams in the second half of the season. Centiskorch was just there's not a lot of fire types and I kind of needed a fire type. And Indeedee wasn't really doing anything for me since I was never bringing Hatterene. I didn't feel like I wanted to hold on to Indeedee male just to have with Hatterene where I want it. Zapdos was huge. I was kind of cold on it at the beginning of the season, but definitely warmed up. It just does so much damage.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, Inteleon is kind of just like the special attacking version of Zapdos. Again, just in matchups where I need a fast special attacker. It does so much damage. Frostmoth I brought to quite a few matches. I think I brought it to 3 matches, but based on my opponent's setup, I didn't need it for what I wanted to, but it does have a couple tricks and some things it can do. Copperaja is kind of just
things like that.
As another kind of Trick Room Pokemon, because I traded away Greedent. Greedent got its one good game in for me.
R.I.P. Greedent.
Yeah.
My favorite squirrel.
I wanted Boltund. I felt like I wanted an electric type. Again, just more type coverage. And then Obstagoon did really well for me the couple of matches that I brought him. So overall, I feel like it's a solid team. I don't know if it's S tier, but I think it's got to be just because of the variety and the tools that everything does. I think it's got to be like up there, like high A. What do you think, Katie?
Yeah, I would say high A. I mean, you clearly have your three cores, which did a lot of work for you for the Galarian, Zapdos, and the Eternatus, and then Inteleon did a lot for you too. I mean, those 3 hard hitters alone held up your team. The only thing with saying high A is I feel like your team is very top heavy. Again, it's a team of 5 or 6. Like Frostmoth didn't really do a whole lot or anything. I think Copperaja.
No, I didn't need it.
Obstagoon, you didn't really get to use much. But again, you're restricted with the generation that you chose. So given that restriction, I think you do deserve an A, though. I think same reasons for PSG as you had a restriction. You guys both made a lot with that.
What do you think, Anthony? You like to pick on me.
I mean, it's so fun. Yeah, I give you I'd say a very high A. Absolutely. I think, yeah, I mean, Grimmsnarl's amazing, like you said. I think you made your case pretty well. Eternatus, Grimmsnarl, and Galarian Zapdos is enough to carry whatever else you bring with it. And Inteleon, too. Inteleon's pretty strong.
Yeah, I didn't have to bring Inteleon as much as the others, but just for what I need to. But am I lower than Vero?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I think you're lower than Vero.
You think I'm lower than Vero?
I don't.
Yeah. See, that's why I said, like, Vero's, like, low S, high A. Like, that's where I was like,
So should I be here?
that's fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I think Vero is kind of above these teams by a little bit.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with doing that. I do think you're above Vero. I think Vero deserves to be in the S tier. So
Yeah.
Oh, you
I'm
don't
fine
think
with that.
Vero deserves to be in the S tier?
I said I do deserve.
Oh, you do. Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you were the one who's
Aggressive.
All right.
Well,
Next up, we got probably the worst team.
wow.
Immediate X tier.
Yeah.
The
Why are we
Boomer
talking about
Ninetales.
I actually don't think I have the best team compared to other people. Like, I didn't get to use my Melmetal really at all, which was incredibly frustrating, and I kept debating trading it in for something else. But I'm like,
I felt so bad that you couldn't bring
it's
Melmetal.
such a good Pokemon, and I'm like, Melmetal.
Oh my god, it is.
You just trade it away because I'm going to trade it and I'm going to need it.
Right?
But I had I love my Ice Core, and Arctazol is fantastic and has a lot of different utilities. I wish I could have made more
Being
use.
16 kills on an Arctazol just feels insane.
Right?
Conkeldurr is always amazing. Every single I brought him
Oh yeah.
a different seasons too. He's just an amazing Pokemon in general. I think that I just struggled with my team in general because I didn't have I brought in Jellicent, but he's not my favorite as far as water types go. But that's not really why I brought him in. And I was hoping to make more use of Klefki as a support. I only brought him to the 2 games.
I mean, Incineroar, you don't need to say anything about that. That thing is
it's
disgusting.
Incineroar, yeah.
Yeah.
Most used Pokemon. Done.
I think Arctazol, I know Conkeldurr has more KOs, but I think Arctazol gets VIP for my team. It did a lot of work, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too harsh. It's a good team, but Executor, I wasn't really able to use or figure out a use for him, so I probably should have traded him away too, but I didn't see another C tier that I thought would be a good 50. I didn't trade anything, did I? I Jellicent.
You got Jellicent.
Jellicent,
That was
yeah.
it. So I'm just mad I didn't get to use Melmetal, and it's frustrating.
Well, season's not over. You got the playoffs.
Right?
This is true.
Ryan, let's hear your thoughts.
Obviously, everyone kind of commented on. Incineroar, just great support Pokemon. Melmetal, solid X tier. Kind of does need support, but this team has the support that you want for it. Rotom Wash is a great Dynamax
You don't
option.
need to say anything else. It's Rotom Wash.
You got the Hail core there of Ninetales Arctazol, which is great. Arctazol's a great Hail abuser, great Dynamaxer. Conkeldurr just is, from what I'm hearing, we haven't done the official voting yet, but from what I'm hearing from people, Conkeldurr might be the early MVP favorite, based on the KO ratio.
In my
And then-
second season, I get the MVP. I never got my my plush for the last season.
I wonder why. Must have gotten lost in the mail. And then you got Gengar, Klefki,
Yikes.
Jellicent, all kind of good support Pokemon. So,
Using Trick Room, as soon as I picked up Jellicent and opened up it made Trick Room a lot more attainable. And that has
Didn't get my plush enough of a grounds for divorce. I just asking for a friend.
That's too funny.
all right, so yeah, I think we're you don't go undefeated with a
Right?
team like that and then not get the X tier. X
We're not
is the
judging our
Roman
coaching.
numeral for 10, and only one team has 10 wins. So
He kept that up his sleeve this whole podcast.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
no, I thought of it right now.
Sure. Either up his sleeve or under his hat.
I'm witty like that. All right, last but not least, certainly not least, the Memphis Muse. Yeah, Anthony, why don't you talk about Memphis here?
Shocking that I'm going to talk about Memphis. No, I think Kevin's team's great. I think he shored up a lot of weaknesses throughout the season. I think he became a very dedicated Trick Room team near the end, but with some additional, obviously Xerneas is just insane. And Jinx, another, and Urshifu are also great Pokemon to keep alongside the Trick Room core. Yeah, I mean, Primarina ended up being a real MVP this season for him from watching his games. Surprisingly has just as many kills as Xerneas, just strong fairy, Dynamax option. For most of the season, it was either that or Palossand were his Dynamax options. And then he picked up a Scavalier in the last week of trading. And, that was another great Trick Room setup, good Dynamax option. Butterfree, four plays, 3 deaths, 0 kills, but I mean, did his job. Not there to get kills.
No.
It's there to let Xerneas set up, or Stack Attacker, or anything else set up Trick Rooms. So yeah, I mean, I think Memphis had an amazing team. Might have had some help on picking his team in the early, season by a really good, coach who is very sexy, has beautiful green eyes, like, emeralds, one could argue, rumor has it. But no, yeah, I think he's an S tier team.
It was totally 100% humble.
Yeah, the humblest.
Cole, what are your thoughts on Memphis?
I mean, yeah, he's got a really good team, and I do agree with Anthony. It does seem like he did like to do the Trick Room towards the end of the season. So like going into playoffs, I'm a little nervous, considering he was undefeated until week 9.
And he barely lost. Like, if you watch that game, it's like literally like the only reason he lost is because Porygon 2 won every speed tie it needed to win.
Oh yeah, that was just unfortunate.
Yeah.
My only caveat is kind of going off what you guys said, how he's developed more into a dedicated Trick Room. Dedicated Trick Room really worries me, because it is a strategy that if an opponent knows it's coming, there's a lot of ways around it. And I've done this in doubles. I've tried a dedicated Trick Room team, and then I've realized, like, oh, my opponents know that I'm doing it now. So I just wonder how if he brings a team similar to what he brought in week 10 to a playoff match, how will that fare? You know what I mean? But that's my only caveat. I mean, obviously, he's still an S tier.
I think the combination of his Trick Room setters is an interesting one, too, because Dust Noir being immune to Fake Out helps a lot with his setting up of Trick Rooms and such. And Stack Attack is just a good Pokemon in general.
Oh, yeah.
See,
And, like, you can't bring something to kill the Stack Attack if he's got the Dust Noir, fighting.
Yeah, but I think you could, like, again, if, say, in the last one, Vero had brought Imprisoned Trick Room on on Oranguru. Yeah, Oranguru, like, just like a small things like that can really trip stuff up, it just stalls out what Trick Room, like just a turn or two that the other team needs to get some key KOs. So that's just something that I would look at.
I think Katie wanted to say something.
I was actually saying, like, I know that we put me in X because I'm undefeated or whatever. I actually think that they have a better team than I do. And I think that they deserve
I disagree with that.
You do?
I'm pretty sure
don't
you
know.
both, if Kevin was on, this was the argument we had last time, is you were both like, oh, you have the better team. No, you have the better
You're
team.
probably not wrong about that. Okay.
I'd say high S.
I think Anthony's team is better, though.
Oh, okay.
I agree, but I'm biased.
No. What do you think, Cole? This is where I would put it.
Yeah, that's all right. That seems fair then. Anthony's
like that
bias
top-
notwithstanding.
I'm personally more scared of Pittsburgh, and I beat them, and I'm more scared of them than Memphis's team.
Only because I got mind gamed out of I mind gamed myself out of the win.
The worst thing you can do is psych yourself out.
I know, right?
All right, everybody who sat through this, thanks for watching. This is the final tier list. Despite a wacky season, honestly, not too many bad teams. I think a lot of the coaches, we kind of said this too, how I think this was Vero's best season. They've been in the league a while.
I was impressed with Vero this season, definitely comparatively.
Yeah. I think this was, from the draft standpoint anyway, this was the Psyducks' best season. It kind of ended up record-wise being their kind of standard year, but I feel like there were a few teams that kind of definitely developed a lot this season. So we'll have to see how that carries over into the playoffs for some of these teams, and then next season when we do a whole different format, going into Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl.
Let's see. Yeah, it should be interesting.
Right.
Yeah. So thank you, Anthony, Cole, and the #1 seed, Katie, for joining me. Up next, we're going to be looking at the upcoming playoff rounds now that the bye week is over. Stay tuned for that, Socialites.
All right, Socialites, here are the current updated playoffs for Season 6. These are the matches you'll be seeing this week. Hueco defeated the #7 seed, Paris Saint-Germain. Big win for them, big upset. But I knew that Hueco had a good team. They got a very scary rain team, and they have the KO leader Zapdos. So they are a sneaky, dangerous 10 seed, and they're going up against the #1 seed, Denver Ninetales, who beat them early in the season. We'll have to see how that battle goes. On the lower half of the left side of the bracket, we got the Pittsburgh Poltergeist taking on the Vero Beach Volcaronas. Have to see if Pittsburgh can come up with anything to stop the hyper offense of Vero. Should be a good match there. Going over the right side of the bracket, Charm City Charizards defeated the #9 seed, Black City Zekrom, in a close match. And they'll be going up against the Boston Braviaries. I don't think these two have played each other. Maybe it was Season 3? It's been a while. If at all. I honestly don't recall if they've ever played each other. And on the bottom half of that side of the bracket is the #3 Memphis Muse taking on the #6 Driftvale City Dragapults. This might be one of Memphis's toughest challenges. I definitely think the Dragapults have a lot of scary threats. See if Memphis can pull it off there. So yeah, thanks for sticking with us through this long podcast this week, guys. Make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And we'll see you with more playoff news. And this weekend we will be streaming Brilliant Diamond and Shine Pearl. See you there.